So President Trump asking Americans for patience and paying a little bit more for gas, because the unified message from here is that gas prices will drop quickly once the operation's finished. The president says that he has to do this to make sure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Jackie?
All right.
Well, before I toss back to you, yesterday we aired a graphic that showed gas prices incorrectly.
Fox News got caught running cover for the president just a few days after the president himself went after the network, calling out hosts by name and insisting that they, quote, put up more of a fight. Well, it appears by put up a fight, the executives at Fox just thought, why don't we just lie to the audience and the American people about gas prices? This week, Fox News aired a graphic about gasoline prices that made Donald Trump's current economic situation look, well, substantially better than it actually is. Not just once, but twice before messing up on their own rebuttal. That's right, the network had to put a host on television and correct their own network's reporting. And this is a network which we've reported on are caught somewhere between, well, we have to tell our viewers what is actually happening out there and the American people aren't happy, but also, oh God, not like that.
So President Trump asking Americans for patience and paying a little bit more for gas, because the unified message from here is that gas prices will drop quickly once the operation's finished. The president says that he has to do this to make sure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Jackie?
All right.
Well, before I toss back to you, yesterday we aired a graphic that showed gas prices incorrectly last year were $4.13 a gallon. They are in fact $3.13 a gallon. That's 90 cents more in the past year. The Trump administration says those gas prices will fall quickly once the operations in Iran ends. Now back to you.
While discussing gas prices a year ago, before the Iran war catastrophe, they showed prices at around $4.13 per gallon, as if to insinuate, see, it hasn't gone up that much since Mr. No New Wars started a new war. But the actual price 1 year ago was actually $3.14. It means it has went up 90 cents more, and that's a direct result of this war. Fox aired the erroneous graphic on America Reports and Fox Business before issuing an on-air correction the next day.
Grandkids.
We do, of course, have a midterm election coming up, and the question is whether all this can happen before the midterms, whether voters will see some signs that we've turned a corner in ending this conflict. Even the Iranians, by the way, are now referring to the midterm elections. They know that the president and Republicans are particularly sensitive about how all this could affect the midterms. How do you think it's going to affect the midterms, assuming we don't have a clear resolution at the time that they happen?
Well, I give President Trump so much credit because he doesn't look at this as an election issue. He looks at this as a long-term ensurement that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon ever pointed at us or at Israel, our allies, or our troops abroad. And some things are more important than elections. So
I got it.
President Trump is always
But again, the election is coming, and there are a lot of Republicans who are concerned about being reelected or going against a competitor. How do you think the war is going to play into the elections?
Well, I think we got to bring gas prices back down, and we got to get the economy moving and the housing market moving and the quality of life for all Americans to continue to improve. And there are lots of good signs in the economy that is happening. And the good news is that immediately upon striking a deal with Iran, gas prices will plummet and Americans will feel better from it.
Well, we've seen that happen before when it appeared we were going to come to a resolution. But
now, listen, mistakes happen in newsrooms. Of course they do. Every newsroom will have one. But we can't just overlook the fact that this is Fox News. And they make a lot of mistakes. In fact, they were forced to shell out almost $800 million in a lawsuit over what they had deemed as just a little mistake, lying about the 2020 election. So forgive us if we're not just going to pass it off as a measly error, but point out that the very same network hosts often cited for going to bat for the president when strikes are launched while offering little pushback on the repercussions.
The bombing campaign was a major success. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper told Trump we're out of targets to hit along the coastline. And since we sent our B-1 bombers to redecorate, the mullahs are playing ball. For now, Trump's drawing up the most sophisticated operation in history. The mission? Snatch Iran's enriched uranium right out of their nuclear facilities. The targets are locked. We could also be going into Pickaxe Mountain, Maduro style. Thousands of special operation forces would be sent out on a seek and destroy mission. This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Kevin Cork in Washington. Iran launching what the U.S. military describes as a new surprise attack on U.S. forces in the Middle East. Officials say several ballistic missiles were intercepted. U.S. and Saudi Arabian forces responding with precision strikes on Iran-backed groups in Iraq accused of targeting U.S. troops and Saudi energy sites. Now,
Iran launched a surprise attack against U.S. forces in Jordan.
But they have to deal with reality, and so does the administration, because the Iranians are, and the Gulf allies are, and the Houthis now want in, and there are multiple problems. I'm uncomfortable talking about munitions because that should be classified. The Iranians, they've got a death wish, and when the president says he has patience, so do they. Like, they'll wait this out. They don't care about pain for their people. They don't care about their people at all.
You don't think that after going through months of this, having to go after Iran over and over again when it was billed as maybe just a few weeks, hasn't depleted our munitions, and that China isn't looking at Taiwan?
Trey, I don't get it. We hear there's friendly negotiations going on, but is Iran saying they're not talking at all?
And when hosts do dare to go off script and don't coddle the president, Trump attacks them by name, claiming that they're in fact biased against him. It's absolutely hilarious. But no matter the mistake, Fox can't avoid the reality that the underlying economic story is absolutely brutal for Donald Trump.
The place I'm finding the problem is in the Strait of Hormuz, the whole oil thing. I'm feeling like we're losing clarity on what we're doing there. Okay. And maybe that's an understatement, but I do feel like we're losing some clarity there. Now, so I'm at the point, and you gave me this way of thinking about it last week, Dagan. I'm at the point where I do not want to hear anything about whether or not Iran wants to make a deal. I don't want to hear anything about how much control we have. I don't want to hear anything.
Said this last hour, as much as gas prices anger voters, I think the housing market will play an even bigger role.
That's a big problem. Yeah,
that you have, in the words of the Home Depot CEO, the housing market's frozen.
Fox News itself reported yesterday that Trump's approval has fallen to 33% in the latest Reuters Ipsos survey. 64% disapprove. Fox's own headline described Trump's rating as having, quote, plummeted to a new low. And a Fox article directly identifies gas prices as part of the political problem, the very thing they misled their viewers on. Before Trump's Iran war, gas nationally was just below $3 a gallon. Now it's above $4. That's why the Iran war has become so dangerous for this president politically, because the consequences are tangible. The war began in February. Trump initially promised the conflict would be resolved within weeks. We're nearly 6 months into it, and still there seems to be no end in sight. Reuters reports that actually 80% of Americans believe that US involvement will continue for an extended period. Only 16% think it is likely to end within a few weeks. That's an overwhelming lack of confidence in the president.
To Iran, but they are getting in for other places. But we'll see. We're going to see what happens. It'll either be extremely good and oil prices are going to drop like Iraq, or we'll continue to do exactly what we're doing. You know,
when you have to pay a little bit more, you're at $4. It's okay. I mean, it's, I'll never apologize. I did the right thing. But you could, you know, if you didn't have, you'd be at, I mean, I had it down to below $2 in many states, but in California you can't include because they keep taxing. You lower the
Trump campaign is a man who would end endless wars, reduce inflation, lower energy costs, and now the war's prolonged. Gas is above $4 despite what you see on Fox, and his approval is around 33%. Americans trust Democrats actually over Republicans on the economy, the thing that Trump, it's usually his bread and butter, by 38% to 35% in the same Reuters poll. Only 1 in 5 Americans think that the Iran war has actually been worth it. And usually those 1 in 5 are on Fox News. Those are all devastating numbers for the president, and Fox can only conceal them for so long.
Before you go, our book, WTF America, is available for pre-order now. It's the story of how we got here and how we fight our way back. To pre-order, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.